Hi everyone, welcome back to this week weekly market update. As usual, let's take a look at what happening on last week, last Friday, and things to watch out for the coming week to prepare yourself before you just click on the new start of the week. Alright, so let's take a look at what happened on last Friday. We can see that most of the three index actually closed higher, especially like for Dow, jump 176 points, for Nasdaq, gained 1.9%. S&P also gained close to 1% on last Friday. So main reason is because of this PCE data, the Personal Consumer Expenditure Price Index on Friday itself, it show a easing in the inflation. So what does this mean? So as we know that Fed has been trying to fight hard on the inflation, right? So to stop the inflation from going higher, they are actually monitoring the data like PCE, like consumer index, like non-farm payroll, like this kind of data to understand where does inflation stand at this point of time. So with a show of easing inflation, it's also telling the market that Fed may not have to continue its rate hike that aggressively for the end of the year, or perhaps for the till the end of the year. All right, and that is why it gives the bullish or a good sentiments to the market itself. And on top of that, right, as we know that we are actually in the earnings seasons, so many stock is reporting a good earnings. As you can see, they're stronger than expected earnings report. Plus the inflations, cooling of the inflation, it double the speed or double the optimistic uh, through the market going to the upside, and that is why we can see that stock has been going higher, or the index has been going higher for the past few days or weeks itself. All right, so earnings season, things to watch out like Intel, 6.6% jump because of the return of the profit. I mentioned in Intel previously, I think months ago, whereby it's good to slowly accumulate, because I don't think Intel is like dying stock at this point of time, especially we know how Nvidia and AMD is performing. Definitely there will be an overspilled milk to Intel, and yet yes, Intel is coming back to the market again. All right, so hopefully people who manage to buy when there's a fear in the market of Intel, you start to be greedy, right? And hopefully you have grabbed in one or two, a couple of shares, and then you make some money from here. All right, so not only on that, I think Roku has climbed 31%, beating the Wall Street expectation on both the top and the bottom line. So I remember I touched on Roku, but it's okay. I will review the chart later as well. Not only on that, last week, significantly, there's uh, two big news, I believe. One is actually the China side. China say that they need to improve their economy, right? After all the COVID, after all the, we can see that China has been really better from the perspective, and China government step in and say that they need to make their economy great again, and that is why China related shares, all right, or China index has been booming, all right, and that is why China internet ETF like KWEB has been up like 12.5% for the last week itself. All right, so not only on that, China's related shares like TAL Education Group, this education group, right, actually jumped to 24%. iQIYI shares rose to 28%. Not only on that, there's many Chinese shares is performing well, especially some which I mentioned to grab at the low, like JD and Alibaba. If they have been following me closely till date, I'm still holding both, and I am happy with my portfolio at this moment for China internet shares itself. All right, so let's take a look for the coming weeks, thing to watch out, because as we know, it's the start of the month. The first week of the month usually is heavily economy data, like non-farm payroll, unemployment rate. Everything will be announcing on next week itself. All right, so market will be very volatile at this point of time. So just be careful, because firstly, we are definitely at the really overbought situation. But who knows, higher there will be high, right? Higher high. Uh, Next week, things to watch out is huge, heavy economy data. Not only on that, on top of that, earnings. All right, we are still in the earnings season, which is the AMD earnings report for the technology side. And on top of that will be the Apple I think there will be Apple. Yes, Apple and Amazon is announcing their earnings report on Thursday as well. All right, so a few things to watch out for. If you're holding any tech sensitive counter, just be cautious of it as well. All right, so this is the two things we have to watch out: heavy economy, heavy earnings, especially some popular stock is announcing their report. All right, so like I said last week, two big news. One is the China side, another one is the Bank of Japan. All right, it shocked the market with a policy tweak. So what does it mean is that all along we know that Japan's interest rate is actually at the low side. All right, that's why it's a heavy currency for people who do carry trade. If you know what I mean by trading on the USD yen pair, simply just long USD yen, you'll be earning the overnight interest fee, right? Because one USD is paying a high interest, you borrow yen is paying the low interest or close to zero or -1 interest. I can't remember. I think it's zero, and that is why you have a carry trade. So because of these policy changes, right? They say they are going to hit on the yield curve rate shortcut, aka YCC. All right, and that is why they're going to say that the 10 years rate they are going to make it at will offer to purchase the 10 years Japanese bond at 1% through the fixed rate operations. So when you go to the chart itself, right, simply you can see what happening on the Japanese 10 years yield. It's right now close at 0.573%, but it mentioned 1%. I believe coming the weeks it should back to the 1% level soon. All right, because this is what they say, right? The government say it may be 1%. I'm not sure, so we will take a look at what is happening for the coming week as well. And this is what caused the market or caused the USD yen pair or the Nikkei to have huge fluctuations over the week itself. Especially if, let's say, for people who are trading USD yen, you should know how's the fluctuation work on last few days. Can you see? Simply down 142 to 138 and 138 back to 142. Huge volatility for the past 2 to 3 days itself. All right, so this is actually a surprise came out from the yen itself. So people who are trading on the yen, trading on the USD yen, trading on the Nikkei stock, Nikkei index, be cautious. I think if they start to have a tweak, maybe going forward they will have more uh, policy play out. All right, so be cautious. Okay, so this is the PCE news, right? Whereby the consumer, the index itself fall to the lowest in the nearly 2 year, which gives the market hype that Fed may not continue to increase the rate itself, all right, because inflation is well controlled. All right, so that is all about the news for the past week and things to watch out for the coming week. Let's dive directly to the chart itself. So for the chart, let's start off with the index as well. So for index, this is Dow Jones Index I mentioned on last week. I mentioned it may have some pullback because we are actually very near the resistance level. All right, it may have some pullback. This is last week as I wrote really chart. If candle break below 34,300, all right. If it break, that's what's a good thing about it is that when I write, right, I can actually monitor lah. Okay, not a good sign. So did it break below? We can see. So this the week itself, the low it goes is 35,216. So it didn't break 34,300, which is this red line. Okay, it's very obvious. And that is why there is no downside. We can see, right? Otherwise, we ride with the trend. Okay, we may see 36,400 or DJI making new high. So last week high is actually at 35,600. Yes, it may continue to ride if the coming weeks the earnings report is doing well as well. Okay, some people might actually do a short here because it's near the resistance level. Of course, please have a tight stop loss. If it break above, it may continue to ride higher. All right, so this is what I mean. Since it didn't fall below here, and with the PCE data, with earnings report doing well for most of the company, I will assume it may continue to ride with the trend lah. All right, unless there's a significant pullback, then you have to watch out for. So firstly, if you break this recent high, we may see a more higher to show. All right, so this is my take for DJI. So then let's go to Hang Seng Index. Okay, for Hang Seng Index, I always believe there's a pullback and then go higher. All right. So to me, Hang Seng 20,000 is the baseline. Breaking or show above will show more bullish. Going below will show more bearish itself. So we can see that once again, price fighting hard, closed at 20,160 point last Friday itself. All right, so I really like the way of the chart for Hang Seng at this point of time, because after a pull, after a bull, a pullback, all right, and then it right up again. So breaking the 20,000, which is the so-called the inflex point, will show Hang Seng to go even higher. All right, so the next target we will be looking at will be 21,000, which is just 1,000 point away. Let me see. So this is very long ago. I will just update here. Today is 29. All right, we'll target TP 21,000 first. Okay, so this is what I mentioned. So let's do it. Just shift a bit. Okay, so volume good coming in. All right, so I believe unless you show a very price actions candle showing engulfing coming down and then it's been resisted at 20,000, then it's also significant. Or otherwise, at current stage with current China is trying to boost the economy, it may affect the Hong Kong shares as well. So we are looking at the upside or buyers on the upside. All right, that goes to China A50 as well. So China A50, all right, can you see? Support well supported at 38.2%, around 12,400. This is what I wrote at 18th Feb. Price may resume upside if we trade above 13,600. So right now it's 13,400. All right, it may resume upside if we go above. Otherwise, we may act 23% as immediate resistance. So, but it didn't. This is what I wrote previously. It didn't. 18th Feb is very long ago, which is here. Right, which is here. Right now, we can see that the price, okay, the price pull back, supported at 38.2%, as you can see from here. Okay, up, pull back, and then go up. All right. So for this one, this is a weekly chart, gentlemen, and concurrently, with the China supporting, government supporting, I will buyers more on the upside. All right. So this is the 29 July. Okay, buyers upside. Government step in. Okay, so all right. So where is our target? Definitely, right? We need to know, right? Of course, it's so bullish itself. I think going to all-time high, previous high, January 2023, shouldn't be an issue. So I will be more aggressive over here and more bias over here by putting it to go all the way here. All right, so let's just put a rough gauge TP around this area. So that is my view for China A50 at this point of time. All right, so let me delete some Fibonacci level. Oops. To show a more clear cut that we are going to aim at this level. Okay, so this is what I feel for China A50. Okay, so hopefully, you do what you chart, right? You trade based on what you chart. If you don't believe it, then why are you wasting your time of charting, right? Okay, so that is my take for China A50. So let me see what other things. Okay, so other counter to watch out for as well. JD, oops, which I mentioned, right? JD, can you see? We start to accumulation keep come in, right? Start to dollar cost averaging on JD model, whatever. You should have been buying low when they go to $30+. Right now, last Friday closed at 40. All right, back to previous high. So where am I looking for JD? Definitely resistance is $50. I believe here. Okay, it will just come here. All right, so just simply shift my arrow will do. Okay, so this is what I mentioned. We got stop out at 33, decided to join in, and when I stop out, I start to do DCA on JD because the fundamentally for JD is quite strong. I quite like it after my analysis, so I then go for the DCA for JD itself. All right, so same goes to BABA if you have been accumulating as well. This is what I mentioned on BABA. Let's take a look. 17 June. All right, I bias upside $100 to 110. And where are we now? Okay, so from here, if you go down, you grab it, and then right now it touches $100. Last week closing, $100.55. All right, so where next? It's very simple. My second TP is 110, right? Then make it 110. So after it break above, then we can see the high again over here. Okay, 120. Yes, I believe. Okay, so I will just update here. 29 July. Next bias upside TP 110/120. Okay, we will only see it break out after it break out. Correct or not? So right now with a good decent volume on the weekly candle, we bias on the upside. That we hit 110 and 120. It break 120 because here has many resistance. Unless it break, then we will see where it goes. If it never break, it should be your first level of resistance level. All right, that is why I put 120 here. Okay, so if you have been entering on BABA, then good to you. Okay, this is very long ago, so I just put here. Okay, so let's take a look at others counter. Today I'm going to introduce few counter. Oh, I did mention ARK as well. In January, all right, gentlemen. Update 1st April. So 1st April is here. All right, 1st April is here. All right, so I mentioned ARK bias upside. I was always bias upside because we know that ARK, what is the component inside this ETF? All right, it's Tesla, uh, DraftKings, Roku. Is there any changes? You guys can go and Google it. Of course, Katie Wood may have do some update portfolio, rotating. So, but I'm biased on the upside. Support at $30, which is never break, right? Which is never break since 1st of April. So if you have accumulating up by now, you should be quite, there's profit in your portfolio. All right, you should be at the green side. All right, so our first resistance is actually at 49, which is we hit 49 last closing, and then our next resistance midterm is at 63, which is the 23.6%. So yes, I'm going to give you a upside call for up as well. All right, so just to update, since I'll just continue this style. Okay, so that is what I mean for ARK. If you have joined me, you should be benefiting by then. All right, next counter. I remember KRE. I've been sharing this many long ago. All right, 25th March. Since March, I've been entering, holding. Right now, last week closing is at you can see at 48.72. Anywhere that you accumulate, you should be rewarding by now. All right. So I think there's news for the government side on the bank that they need to have more capital holding. If I remember, you guys can go and read it up on the yes, the tougher rules, right? Banks are getting tougher rule. Of course, tough rule not good for them because they can't loan out much money, to get more interest, correct or not? But the good side is they are more safe. Okay, you will see what Credit Suisse like bankrupt, these kind of things, which also give more stability in the bank itself. Okay, so I still believe there is more upside for KRE. So if you didn't enter below right now, not too bad. There is still chance to accumulate at this point of time as well. All right, so that is my take for KRE. So just do a quick update since I never update before. Just simply do some touch. At least I know I updated. Remain bias on upside. May still. All right, so that's my view for DCA on KRE. Okay, new counter that we will be watching out. Firstly, I'm going back. I mentioned Grab previously. Yes, as you can see. All right, many months, years back. Okay, years back. So right now, I see some upside. Of course, one not that good thing is that Grab went to acquire Singapore taxi operator, Transcab. Of course, spending money is not a good deal, right? But in order to grow the business, you need to spend, right? So is it a wise action for Grab to go and acquisiate Transcab? No one's know. Definitely on paper, they spend money first, right? But I am more optimistic based on either the technical perspective or the related company, related sector company. I am biased on the upside for Grab at this point of time. So I'm going to just delete one of the arrow and then just pull it back to here. I don't like this arrow. I'm going to change to this arrow instead. Okay, so my Grab, wow, that's so long ago. Okay, I'm going to go and just delete because it's very long ago. I'm just going to type 29 July bias upside TP. I'm going to put at 410/480. Yes, so that is my view for Grab. This is a weekly chart, gentlemen. Go to the day chart. There is still few things to go. All right, you need to break the 410. Okay, so I need to break 410, then we will see 480 next. Okay, so this is my bias for Grab itself. Next thing, let's take a look at okay, one last counter for today will be C limited. Okay, C limited. Bias upside. This December. Whoa, that's so long. Yes, we hit the TP at 85 and then we cover back. All right, so this is the first round that we managed to enter. Where is it? 10th December is somewhere here. All right, so we entered current price 60. We take few months to get 85 and then we come back to this level 60 again. Ha, perfectly, right? I mean, we buy it, we sold it, we take profit. Right now, come back to the entry price. What are we waiting for? Okay, so let's write one more round. From current price, let's go to 85 again. Okay, so I have bias on the upside. Perfectly, yeah, this is counter. So let's take a look. 29 July. Right once again. Okay, entry 60 plus market price. SL, let's I don't want to do because I did my homework previously. I just put at 40, TP 85. Okay, so bias upside. Of course, you can see for during the December time, current price 60, we are eye to long at 50. All right, we place a limit order. So in December, which is here, did it go to 50? Let's take a look. Yes, the low is 47.58. All right, so we did hit $50 at that point of time. All right, so $50 we bought it and then we go to 85. Just nice. So right now, market, although we can see is below this moving average 50-day, but it's a sideways market. Moving average is not significant at all. All right, moving average is not significant at all. So with the current economy situation, everything is getting bullish. Uh, uh, Good market sentiments, so we may actually ride with it. All right, we may actually ride with it. So I will just put bias. Of course, if you go down, we just cut, right? I mean, part and parcel in trading. All right, so that is my thoughts for SE for the coming weeks. All right, so I think that's all for my this week weekly market update. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Hopefully you guys have some things to watch list. Put into your watch list and then we monitor from there. All right, so let's stay tuned and I'll see you guys next week again. Bye bye.